Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm Michael and we're going to be getting right back into some more Reddit stories. If you enjoy the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Now, without further ado, let's begin. This story was posted by a user named Too Hard on My Family in the AITAH subreddit. The post is titled AITAH for turning my teenage niece away at the door and telling my sister to wake up because of how my niece treats my own daughter. My sister Teresa has a 16-year-old daughter, Quinn. Quinn and I used to be very close when she was younger, and I loved having auntie-niece time together. However, since becoming a teenager, Quinn has become very snarky and sarcastic in a mean way. I particularly don't like the way she behaves towards my own daughter, Bella. Quinn crosses the line. A particular episode of verbal cruelty at a birthday party was when I'd had enough and told Quinn, "I don't want you to come over until you can start being nice to Bella." Teresa was present when I said this. We live a short walk away from each other. A few days ago, Quinn arrived and wanted dinner, but I turned her away at the door and told her, "I don't like how you treat my daughter. Unless it is an emergency, you are not welcome here." Teresa called me because she said I was a horrible person for turning Quinn away since she is 16 and my niece was upset. Teresa has stopped trying to address Quinn's verbal attitude and has justified it in the past with statements like, "That's just how some teenagers are. It's a teen thing. Teenagers shouldn't be treated like young children," or "Quinn's almost an adult. It's not your place to parent her like some child." I brought up Teresa's past words and told her she was correct that Quinn is an adult who doesn't need to be scolded by me. I have the right to protect my child from an unkind adult. Quinn is already having issues at school with emails home or friends making excuses for why they don't want to see her. It's time for Teresa to wake up and do something about her daughter. Teresa and I have both shared our sides with mutual friends and acquaintances, and they are divided. Some say that Quinn's attitude is not okay, but that I was wrong to turn her away at the door because she's still 16 and my niece. They argue that being a teenager and rapidly transitioning from childhood to adulthood is already a rough process. According to Teresa, Quinn appears to be having issues at school, and I should try to have more patience with her and see what may be going on outside of home. Regardless of the reason, I feel I had to set a hard boundary regarding Quinn's behavior. It isn't an easy time, but at 16, you still know right from wrong. Bella doesn't deserve to be subjected to that kind of treatment. But are my friends and acquaintances correct that I was too hard on my niece and sister and should apologize for how I responded? User Ghost Panther Assault said, "NTA, Quinn needs to understand that words actually harm people. That's what adults tend to forget a lot of the time. You set a good boundary. I remember when my friend's kid kept talking about gross stuff in front of me to see how cool she was, but I was not having that. I asked her once to stop, and when she did it again, I told her, 'Dude, if you keep talking to me this way, I will legit leave.' I do not care for that. Kids need to understand that this behavior isn't acceptable. They're causing too many issues." User Opa Opa said, "NTA. It's unrealistic to expect a teenager to never be snarky or sarcastic, but it is good and appropriate to expect them to take responsibility for how they treat other people. Actions have consequences. Quinn needs to learn that being cruel to a 6-year-old is not acceptable and that being a teenager is not a free pass to be awful. I don't think there's anything wrong with turning someone away if it's only a short walk. If she can't learn to curb her behavior and apologize when she's hurtful, she can deal with the short walk back." This next post was made in the same subreddit by a user named Clicking Pop. The post is titled AITAH for divorcing my husband after he cheated with my sister. I also cut off my mom for supporting them and moved on with my own life. This has been the most traumatic year of my life, and I'm wondering if I'm being too harsh or if I'm justified in my choices. I was married to my husband for 8 years. We have 2 kids together, a son and a daughter. I thought our life was stable and happy until everything unraveled 7 months ago. I found out that my husband was cheating on me with my younger sister. I didn't discover it through subtle clues or intuition. My son overheard an inappropriate conversation between the two of them at a family gathering and came to me confused and upset. When I confronted my husband, he denied it at first but eventually admitted to the affair. I was utterly shattered. What made it even worse was that my mom sided with my husband and sister. She defended their actions, saying, "Your sister is young and doesn't know any better, and your husband must have felt neglected to fall for someone else." Then she had the audacity to suggest I forgive them and keep the family together for the kids. I was stunned and disgusted. My dad, on the other hand, was furious. He called out my mom's behavior, told her she was enabling betrayal, and eventually filed for divorce from her because he couldn't tolerate her lack of morals. He has been one of my few sources of support throughout all of this. I filed for divorce immediately and cut off my mom and sister completely. My kids have been struggling with the fallout. My son is especially angry and has told me he doesn't want anything to do with his dad. My daughter is quieter but has been acting out in small ways. We've been going to therapy together and I've been doing everything I can to help them navigate this while also trying to heal myself. Over the past few months, I've started putting my life back together. I've focused on my kids, leaned on my dad and close friends for support, and even started dating someone new. She's been incredible, kind, understanding, and supportive. She's great with my kids and they've grown to love her, which makes me feel like I can finally see a light at the end of the tunnel. But the chaos isn't over. My sister's relationship with my ex-husband has completely fallen apart. Now she's blaming my mom, saying she encouraged the whole thing. My mom, meanwhile, is blowing up my phone, accusing me of tearing the family apart by refusing to forgive them. She says my new relationship is a slap in the face to our family and claims I'm being selfish for not letting her or my sister back into my life. To top it off, my ex-husband has been reaching out, begging for forgiveness and asking for a second chance. He's telling me it was all a mistake and that he misses me and the kids. My son and daughter both want nothing to do with him, but I'm conflicted about how much of a relationship they should have with their father. My dad and friends say I'm doing the right thing by cutting out toxic people and focusing on rebuilding my life. But the guilt tripping from my mom and sister is starting to wear me down, and I'm wondering if I'm being too harsh. Should I try to reconcile with my mom and sister for the sake of family? Should I give my ex more of a chance to be involved for the sake of the kids? AITAH for divorcing my husband, cutting off my mom and sister, and moving forward with my life and new relationship. Edit, I have changed my number and I'm currently moving. No, I don't speak to any of my ex-husband's family, and apparently the snitch was my aunt and her husband. So I'm officially not speaking to them. For the people complaining about the fact that my kids know my girlfriend, so what? My children adore her. As for custody, it's 60-40, meaning I can choose the schedule the kids have with their father since I'm the primary caregiver. No, I'm not forcing my kids to not speak to their dad. They've told me numerous times that they don't like going to my ex-husband's house, and I respect that. I'm currently pursuing full custody. For those telling me to get a restraining order, my lawyer said they haven't done anything to endanger my children or me, so I legally can't get one. My dad also has some suspicions that my mom cheated on him based on how she was defending the affair. Update: wow, there are a lot of homophobes in the replies. I want to first say thank you all for the kind messages and some supportive replies. Now for the update. The people who suggested my mom may have had an affair were correct. Apparently, my mom cheated on my dad early in their relationship, but claimed she stopped the affair when my dad found out. We aren't exactly sure if my sister is my father's child, and quite frankly, we hope she isn't. As for my ex-husband, yes, he is allowed to visit his children. He just refuses to see them because my kids hate being around him, not because I'm restricting it as people are claiming. I have 60-40 custody, and the judge granted me full permission to set a schedule for when my kids see their father as long as he isn't completely out of their lives. It also might help that the affair he had with my sister has been ongoing. No one knows how long it went on, but my son has spoken to me and said he has always seen his daddy talking to my sister, so it's definitely been happening since she was in her early 20s. My children are completely fine. They are currently in therapy for this and other issues. No schoolwork has been affected, and my girlfriend certainly isn't negatively impacting them. In fact, they love her during the few times she is here. For those curious, my son is turning 10 soon, and he heard more than one of these conversations. He only told me about this one because he understood what they were saying, which is traumatizing for a child to listen to. A massive screw you to the homophobes. My children adore my partner. No, she isn't like a second parent to them. She loves them as well and is in no way trying to take a fatherly role in their lives. And for the people claiming this is AI, Lord, I wish it were. I'm flattered you think my life is fake. I wish it were, but sadly it isn't. User True Presentation said, "Why are you even in communication with your mom and sister? Cut them off immediately. Don't let them get in your head. They are selfish and do not have your best interests at heart. Keep on the path you're on and lean on those you can trust, those who haven't betrayed you. You do know, I hope, that none of the vile three can ever be trusted again. Please listen to your kids. Keep them in therapy. If they eventually want to see their dad, then that's the time for it. But if they never want to see him, then that's on him. I'm sorry to read your story. Good luck moving forward with your new, better life. Keep the horrible, selfish ones far away from you and the kids. NTA." To this, OP said, "Just for the record, no, I'm not in contact with my mom or sister. Someone on my mom's side has apparently been feeding them information about my life, including my phone number. My kids are currently in control of what they want to do, and as of now, they've refused to have any contact with their father." User Amadeus said, NTA, "You've experienced a triple betrayal from your ex-husband, sister, and mother. Your sister is well into adulthood and should have known that having an affair with her brother-in-law would end poorly. Family might mean cutting them more slack than you would for others, but there are limits, and this is obviously way beyond that. Block her everywhere, and if necessary, get a restraining order. Your mom is an idiot. It would have been one thing for her to stay on the sidelines while still talking to your sister, but she likely cheated at some point and is either projecting or just delusional. Block her everywhere, and if necessary, get a restraining order. Your ex-husband is trickier. He is entitled to time with your kids, so I would tell him to leave you alone unless it's about the children. You should have settled the terms of custody during the divorce. Follow the custody agreement and don't engage otherwise. If he starts manipulating the kids, talk to the courts and see what can be done. A cheater is always a cheater." This final post was made in the True Off My Chest subreddit by a user named Evie Stevie. The post is titled, "My mother-in-law cut my hair in my sleep because she thought I cheated on my husband. So I'm still processing this, but I need to get it off my chest. Last night, I woke up and realized someone had butchered my hair. One side is a jagged pixie cut, while the other side hangs awkwardly past my shoulder. At first, I thought I was losing my mind. Maybe I sleepwalked or something, but no. I confronted my husband, Tim, because he's been acting weird lately, but he denied it. Then he dropped this bombshell. My mom, she might have done it. Apparently, my mother-in-law is convinced I've been cheating on Tim. Why? Because last week, she saw me having lunch with a coworker. For the record, the coworker is gay and we were literally talking about work, but Diane decided I must be having an affair. And instead of, talking to me or Tim, she broke into our house in the middle of the night with scissors and went full Edward Scissorhands on my hair. This morning, I confronted her. At first, she played innocent, but when I pressed her, she literally said, well, maybe now you'll think twice before humiliating my son. I was fuming. I told her Kyle isn't even into women, but she just rolled her eyes and said something like, that's what they all say. I didn't even know how to respond to that level of delusion. Tim is horrified and apologetic, but I'm struggling here. This woman violated my personal space, destroyed my hair, and acted like she was in the right. I want to go no contact with her, but Tim is stuck between me and his mom, and I feel like this is going to create a huge blow up in our marriage. Any advice? Because I'm honestly at a loss here. My mother-in-law cut my hair in my sleep because she thinks I'm cheating on my husband. Now I don't know how to handle her or my marriage. Edit, my husband and I will be going to my mother-in-law tomorrow to talk to her about the situation again. Hopefully everyone will be calmed down by then and I won't have to threaten legal action. Thank you for all the support and suggestions. I will keep them in mind. Edit 2, to everyone saying this is fake. I don't know how to make you believe me, and honestly, I shouldn't have to. I'm sitting here crying in my friend's guest room, completely broken, trying to make sense of how my life has fallen apart in the span of 24 hours. My husband, the person I thought I could trust the most, betrayed me in the most humiliating way possible. His mother violated me in my sleep, and now strangers are telling me my pain isn't real. I wish with everything in me that this wasn't real. I wish I wasn't sitting here trying to figure out how to rebuild my life, how to ever trust someone again, or how to face the people around me after this. I've barely eaten. I've been shaking all day, and I feel like my world is crumbling beneath me. I turned to Reddit because I didn't know where else to go. I needed advice, a sense of support, something to help me hold myself together. But these accusations, they're just making me feel even more alone. If you can't believe me, fine, but please don't make this harder than it already is. I wouldn't wish this pain on anyone. Update. After the conversation we had with Diane this morning, I noticed my husband, Tim, was acting weird. At first, I thought it was just guilt about standing up to his mom, but it felt like more than that. He's been avoiding eye contact and getting defensive when I bring up what happened. Earlier, I couldn't take it anymore, so I sat him down and told him he needed to be 100% honest with me about everything. That's when he dropped the bombshell. Apparently, Diane didn't come up with the haircut idea on her own. Tim admitted that he knew about it ahead of time and even helped her. I felt like I'd been punched in the stomach. He said he truly thought I was cheating on him with Kyle because Diane had convinced him that there was too much evidence to ignore. When she suggested cutting my hair as some kind of a weird punishment, he didn't stop her. In fact, he let her into our house that night while I was sleeping. Tim said he didn't want to confront me directly because he wasn't ready for the truth. So instead, he let his mother do this insane thing to me, thinking it would force me to come clean. Afterward, when I didn't admit to cheating, he started to realize he might have been wrong. But by then, he didn't know how to tell me what he'd done. He kept saying, "I'm so sorry, I was just confused." But I honestly don't know how to process this. This wasn't just Diane acting like a lunatic, this was both of them, and my own husband betrayed me in one of the most humiliating ways possible. I packed a bag and I'm staying with a friend tonight while I figure out what to do. I don't know if I can ever trust him again after this. It's not just the haircut, it's the fact that he didn't talk to me, believed the worst about me without any proof, and actively participated in something so cruel and violating. As for Diane, she's officially dead to me. I've already told Tim that I don't want her in my life ever again, regardless of what happens between us. Right now, I'm torn. Part of me wants to file a police report against both of them for what they did, but I'm scared of how messy it will get. Another part of me just wants to cut ties and move on, but that feels like letting them off too easy. I don't know what my next step is, but I do know this. I deserve better than this. Thank you to everyone who has supported me through this. Your comments and advice have meant the world to me, and I'm truly grateful for the kindness and understanding. It's helping me find the strength to figure out what comes next. Update 2. After everything that's happened, I've been thinking a lot about my next steps, and I've come to a heartbreaking but necessary conclusion. I don't think there's any coming back from this. I trusted Tim with my heart, my safety, my life, and he betrayed me in ways I never thought possible. I can't imagine a future where I feel safe with him, where I can trust him, or where I don't carry the weight of this violation every day. I'm strongly considering filing for divorce. The thought of staying with him feels unbearable. But at the same time, I can't stop worrying about the messiness of it all. I just want to cut ties completely, to walk away and rebuild my life without him or his mother dragging me down any further. As for filing a police report, I'm leaning toward it, but I'm scared of what it might bring. I know what they did was a crime. My own husband let his mother into our home to assault me in my sleep. But the thought of dealing with legal battles or even just having to relive this again and again in statements is exhausting. Part of me wants to hold them accountable, but another part just wants to run far away and never look back. Right now, I'm taking it one step at a time. I've been talking to friends, trying to find some clarity in all this chaos. It's terrifying and painful, but I know one thing for sure. I deserve so much better than this. Thank you to everyone who has shown me kindness and support. It means the world to me right now. Update 3. Hi everyone, I just wanted to give an update after everything that's happened. After spending the last couple of days trying to process everything, I finally made some concrete decisions. First, I contacted a divorce lawyer. I explained the entire situation, including what my husband admitted to and how his mother violated my trust and personal safety. The lawyer was very supportive and walked me through the process of filing for divorce. While it feels daunting, I know this is the best decision for me. I can't see a future where I could ever trust my husband again after what he allowed to happen. Second, I decided to press charges against my mother-in-law. I filed a police report for assault and I've documented everything. Photos of my hair, text messages, and the timeline of events. While I'm still nervous about how messy this could get, I refuse to let her get away with what she did. What she did wasn't just humiliating, it was an act of violence and she needs to be held accountable for it. As for my husband, I've made it clear that I'm done. I've moved out and will not be returning. I've blocked his mother entirely and am limiting any communication with him to legal matters only. I'm still scared and hurt as I figure things out, but I feel a little more empowered now that I've taken these steps. Thank you to everyone who has offered me advice, support, and encouragement. It's helped me more than you know. This is still far from over, but I'm determined to move forward and build a better future for myself. I'll keep you updated as things progress. User Top Ad said, file a police report and tell your husband he needs to choose between his psychopathic mother and your marriage. This is insane. User Acorn Girl said, I think she should tell her husband that he has to shave his head as part of his apology. That should be a requirement before she even considers coming home. Make him send a selfie. Tell him that while this won't fix the situation, it's a step in the right direction to prove he's really sorry. She should also try to get an admission in writing regarding what they did. Something like, you did this to me and I don't feel safe. Hopefully, he or the mother-in-law will apologize via text or at least not deny the incident. She should draw out the conversation over several days and avoid going home during this process. Get plenty of photos to document the incident before letting anyone else touch her hair. She should tell her mother-in-law and husband that they will be paying for the best stylist she can find to fix her hair. Then she can proceed with filing a police report against both her mother-in-law for assault and domestic violence, and against her husband for aiding and abetting domestic violence and assault. It's also crucial to retain a lawyer right after making the police report. Usually an initial consultation is free. She should have a legal representation as she moves forward with a divorce. I recommend not going home at all because it won't be safe, even before the husband shaves his head. There is no way to move past this. I wouldn't let that man so much as touch my hand ever again if I were in her position. Someone who would do this to you is sick and dangerous. What might he do next time he thinks you're cheating or doing something he doesn't like? Will he scar your face so no one else will want you? Will he do something worse? I'm so sorry they did this to you.